Hello and welcome to round 5. We are on the draw, competing for a 5-0. Lurrus mirror. We will not be keeping this. I honestly don't love this hand because I feel like I'm up against burn and I don't have any removal, and Inquisition's okay but not fantastic. But in the case that we're not up against burn, I just think it's too risky to mulligan here. So we are going to go ahead and keep. All right, Jund. Well, we're going to play another fun match. We'll see if we can be lucky enough to win again. I think Jund is definitely a close match. By no means are we favored, and I don't think they're favored necessarily either. But yeah, I guess that's really all that can be said about Jund. So we're definitely going to start off with a discard spell here. They have too many scary threats that could come down. We'll take Tarmogoyf. We don't currently have an answer to it, and aside from a couple push, we're lower on push now because I wanted to play more lightning bolts, and that's the trade-off, is that, you know, game 1 against Jund, we do not have those pushes. Okay, so they cast Kroxa off of Blackwave Cliffs. Interesting what we want to discard here. It's possible it should be a land, but I think I'm going to discard Delver. I want to hit my land drops. I want to hold up Mana Leak, and I think those two things are not, they're kind of going to, you know, fight against each other, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So for that reason, I discarded Delver. I think I had to Mana Leak there. We just come under too much pressure otherwise. But I definitely don't love our position here. They have basically everything. We have to hope that they don't play Lurrus here. If they do, we're gonna fall pretty far behind quickly. I don't think there's a great reason for them not to. Thoughtseize. Okay, I guess. So now they get to play Lurrus. Get a bobble back. We don't have much of a choice but to play around Lurrus and get back Delver. Obviously, I'd prefer not to play right into their obvious removal that we know about, but again, not much of a choice, as waiting just allows them to get more value. We're super far behind this game. Things that would bring us back into it. Really not much. Unearth, maybe. Kolaghan's Command, I guess. Kolaghan's Command would be a really good top deck. Take it. Alright, and we're dead. They're just going to bury us an advantage here. Okay. We get a lot for post board. Sideboarding out the bolts and Seal of Fire because they don't remove all of Jun's creatures, mainly Tarmogoyf and Kroxa. Bringing in Push because it does kill all of Jun's creatures. Bringing in Spellbomb because it's great against Kroxa and it's good against Lurrus. EE, good against all of Jun's 2-drops. Cling to Dusk, good against Kroxa. Good against just in general getting value. Late game, it can even be what's the mechanic called? Escaped. It can even be escaped. So normally we cut Delvers last time, so if we're gonna do that, last time I guess we kept in the Lightning Bolts. Is that what we want to do here? Lightning Bolt does remove Lurrus. It could remove Dark Confidant. It could remove Scavenging Ooze. I think that it's reasonable enough to keep. Let's keep one Bolt and one Force of Negation. I think Force of Negation has some playability late game as just being a hard negate when some of our soft counters become weaker. So I think that that's definitely something you want to keep in mind. We will go first. We'll keep. Mulling against Jun's not great. We have a one-lander with cantrips and Mishra's Bauble. I think it's hard not to just keep this hand. Let's lead on Serum Visions. Bottom top, because we know we're not going to be casting a Sprite Dragon, we can just play out the Bauble here. Although we won't give them information if they are to discard spell us. We don't want to give them information on that. Well, they may just bobble us anyways to get that information. Fair game, fair game. All right. Probably the two best cards in our hand are Spellbomb and Unearth, but I guess it depends on our opponent's hand also. Being on the play definitely gives you the advantage of being able to make those powerful tempo plays, and I definitely intend to take advantage of that. So I really want to put an emphasis on playing Lurrus on turn 3, getting back Bauble, being able to unearth it, I think that those are really powerful plays and is how you press the advantage of being on the play, because otherwise your opponent's just up a card. So those are all things to consider. All right. So there's one unknown that our opponent does not know about. Ideally, they go ahead and play a Tarmogoyf here or something. Unideally, they spellbomb us. Seal Fire's fine. It does mean they get to instantly remove our Lurrus, and it means that we're exposing ourselves to Scavenging Ooze, potentially. So those are risks that we are knowingly taking, but I think the upside is still so high. I'm gonna play Bauble here. I'm not gonna crack like that. Don't want to give them extra information if they discard Spellless. Still very much hoping that our opponent Fetch Shock. I guess they have a push. Very much hoping they do not have a way to remove Lurrus from the graveyard. This will be a pretty pivotal turn. If that is to happen, we are not in a great spot. If they do not remove Lurrus from our graveyard, we are in a very fine spot. Ren and 6 is okay. See if they have another push here. Or a bolt. I'm pretty tempted to spellbomb here. I wouldn't be getting an actual card, but it would turn off Lurrus if they play that. And it would turn off Revolt if they drew Fatal Push for turn. And it stops their Ren and 6 engine at least temporarily. The question is, what could they have? If they have a removal spell here for Lurrus, then it's pretty important that I do not waste the spell bomb. I need that card. I'm not going to risk it. I think the card probably is too valuable. If they play Lurrus, then we can reevaluate. But for now, them not quickly fetching is a good sign that maybe they did not draw Fatal Push for turn. Ooh, this is a Kolaghan's Command. I have Collective Brutality. Okay. Discarding Unearth. They're going to take our Serum Visions. Most likely. We have lots of live draws. Engineered Explosives would be good. Bobble's reasonable. We'll bobble ourselves. If it's something really good, we can draw it right now. Okay. I guess there's not a huge reason to draw that right now. Just mana efficiency, that's not our primary concern. Instead, we'll wait till they fetch with Wrenn and 6, hopefully. Nice. Wrenn and 6 is going to be a concern. The ultimate is still pretty powerful, even if they do not have spells to flashback currently. They will eventually. I do think, however, we should fire off the spell bomb here. After drawing the second one, the first one's much more expendable. Their Wrenn and 6 is up to 6. Loyalty, need to find an E rather soon. Let's think about this. So if they were to play a Tarmogoyf here, I think we let it resolve. And don't push it, I believe. Probably smart of them. They're being cognizant they do not overcommit. We're going to fetch here. With the spell bomb, we should have no problem obtaining Revolt. Okay, destroyed, owned. Blue player gets owned by, that was pretty sad. Trophy. I guess fetching there was unnecessary. Thank God for fast lands. Oh no. Now they have a nurturing peatland engine online. Things are not looking good for the good guys. It's pretty likely we just have to use the spell bomb now. We can't allow this to continue. I mean, if we wait till next turn, it's just that we're gonna be like cut off on mana. I think our best hope here is to draw like Unearth. And then hope they have nothing. I mean, we know they have somewhat close to nothing. Oh, we know they have Lurrus. That's fair. It's like it's an ultimate Lurrus. Bring it back. This game is not looking good. But if we're able to Get our own Lurrus online, maybe. We could claw back in. Ravine is a good use of the turn. Well, I mean, they get to buy it back, so not great. It'll be interesting looking back and wondering where things went wrong. Boil was definitely pretty effective, but even without Boil, I think we were a little bit behind, and I'm wondering how we allowed ourselves to get there. Maybe I need to reevaluate the role of effectively jamming Lurrus like I did in the matchup. Ooh, man. If only I had Revolt, I would have a pretty powerful turn lined up here. As it stands, not too much I can do. I guess I'll just attack Ren in 6. And then if they minus, I get Revolt at least. And then I can remove that. And then if I draw Engineered Explosives, I can remove Ren in 6. Oh darn. Thoughtseize foils that plan. I'll cast it to get a trigger, so at least my Spire Dragon will not die to Ren in 6. Our opponent has it all. I think we can pretty safely call this one. Nicely played by our opponent. Lurrus Jund, a sweet deck. I can definitely get behind them doing well with that. And yeah, GG's. Okay. Let's do a post-game debrief. So we got the 4-1. And let's go look at the list and see what we think. So the experiment card in this league was Seal of Fire. And as far as I'm concerned, it underperformed, honestly. I boarded it out almost every matchup. I wasn't thrilled to have it. If it were to be in the deck, it'd probably be a sideboard card that I'd bring in as a creature matchup poser. But honestly, Engineered Explosives does a better job than that. What would I be looking to replace Seal of Fire with in the future? Tough question. It's possible we could move the second Snapcaster Mage back into the main because we're removing another card that doesn't flip Delver. That's something I always try to be pretty cognizant of, is trying to keep my Delver flip spells at least 26. Archmage's Charm, still a card that has performed very well in some situations, not as well in others. I think that's something that we'll have to keep an eye on the meta. And if the meta begins to be more grindy, then Archmage's Charm is a card that you're definitely interested in as just a hard counter that also is just a draw to. But if the meta continues to be more Boron-oriented, then I found that Charm was not as good as spells like Mana Leak and Drown in the Loch. But Seal of Fire could be replaced with an Archmage's Charm. I think that is what I'm going to try for my next upcoming league. One of the reasons I went down to 2 Archmage's Charms is because I was trying a Swamp for a while. And now that I'm not playing the Swamp anymore, I don't really see a great reason to play a Charm. I don't know if I actually own another Archmage's Charm. I do not. We'll add one just as a filler. But okay, looking at the sideboard, pretty happy with how the sideboard played out. We did get caught a little bit with our pants down against a Titan deck. We still managed to win though, which I think demonstrates just the fact that it's a good matchup, and I wouldn't want to dedicate too many sideboard slots to it. Yeah, I just really don't think I would dedicate sideboard slots to the deck right now. If it starts to become more popular, it's possible you could cut a Fatal Push for an Aether Gust. But as of now, I don't think that we need to be scared of the Titan deck. It's a pretty solid matchup, and yeah, I wouldn't dedicate slots. There are other matchups that need more addressing and have more impactful cards. Yeah, mana base felt pretty good. One thing I'm definitely trying to keep an eye on is the Watery Graves. I'm not sure if I want to have a third one. I've had some situations where I really wanted to fetch a blue-black land, but say I drew a Watery Grave and I already fetched one this game, then I'm not able to. But it's hard to balance that versus the fast lands. Yeah. Drown in the Lock is another card I'd consider maybe adding another one on. I was initially kind of low on it, but recently it's definitely seemed to be a lot better whenever it showed up as my one of, so maybe just having it as a two of is reasonable. Yeah, that's the list. I hope you enjoyed this league. Thank you guys for joining, and if you guys enjoyed it, let me know, and I'll make more in the future. Thanks for watching.